The Supreme Court grappled once again today with the issue of church and state. As John Yang reports, today's arguments about whether taxpayer funds can be used to pay tuition at religious schools in Maine comes on the heels of recent cases in which the justices sided with religious freedom advocates.
Olivia Carson lives in a Maine town so small that it doesn't have its own high school. In this largely rural state, more than half the school districts don't have high schools. Those districts help pay tuition at state-approved private schools if that's what parents want. Olivia's parents chose Bangor Christian schools, which both of them had attended as well. Olivia's mother, Amy.
Really good academics, small classroom size, pretty much a family atmosphere. You didn't worry when they went to school.
They also liked what the school describes as a high school curriculum designed from a biblical worldview.
It's the same kind of atmosphere we have at the house, is the same atmosphere she has at school, and the same teachings and the same kind of guidelines and structure.
But that faith-based teaching is also why the state wouldn't allow tuition payments for Olivia, who graduated earlier this year and is now in college. So the Carsons, backed by the Institute for Justice, a libertarian group, sued, saying that violated their First Amendment rights to free exercise of religion.
So you see kids or families that can't afford to send their kids where they really want to send them that should be able to. To exclude the school solely based on its faith-based academics, it's not right.
Last year, the Supreme Court ruled that a state can't exclude schools from a tax credit-backed scholarship program simply because they're affiliated with a church. In this case, the justices are being asked whether taxpayer money may go to schools providing religious instruction.
The government should not be in the religious sphere.
Tom Cuniff is general counsel for the nation's largest Lutheran denomination, which filed a brief supporting the state of Maine.
Because religious education is fundamentally different, it is appropriate for the state of Maine to say, we do not want to be involved and entangled in religious education.
In today's oral arguments, the ideological differences between some of the justices was evident. Justice Stephen Breyer, a liberal, warned against government choosing among religions.
There are 65 religions or more in this country, and they believe a lot of different things. And what's worrying me is that if the state must give money to the schools, they're going to get into all kinds of religious disputes.
But Justice Samuel Alito, a conservative, suggested that Maine's restriction on sectarian education could do just that. He posed a hypothetical to Maine's lawyer about a religious school teaching non-discrimination and universal respect.
These are principles that we think our students should keep in mind, consistent with the religious outlook of our community. Would that school be disqualified?
I think what the defining feature or what would make the difference is whether children are being taught that your religion demands that you do these things, that your religion
demands. Then you really are discriminating on the basis of religious belief.
Today's case is one of 3 dealing with religious rights the court is considering this term.
So this is a court that not only is very interested in how religion is being treated, but also feels very strongly that the free exercise clause in particular in the First Amendment should be aggressively enforced or implemented.
Marcia Coyle is chief Washington correspondent for the National Law Journal.
John, I think the court fell into something of a familiar pattern with these cases. You had the court's conservative majority being very skeptical of the state of Maine's arguments. And then you had the 3 justices on the liberal wing of the court who feel that, now, wait a minute, this is almost, if we strike down this program and require a state to fund religious schools, that's almost a step too far in terms of what the court has been doing, that there still is separation of church and state.
The justices will deliver their decisions in the 3 religion cases by the end of June 2022. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm John Yang.